Hello, it's me again. So, it's the 4th of April, 2026. It's the Saturday just before Easter Sunday and Monday. So, this story I picked out because it's about a couple months old, but I was saving it for Easter. So, about 14 years ago, approximately, or longer, let's go with 2014. So, that would be, we're at 226, about 12 years ago. Okay, there was this young lady. She was going to college, and she was going to be at the health industry. I think she was going to be a pharmacist. She was born on New Year's Eve. Brown hair, green eyes, about 5'2", gorgeous, beautiful girl. And she wanted to work as a dancer to make money for her college. She only was able to afford 1 year or something like that. So she's approximately 20 years old, going on 21. So anyway, she hears about me and she wants readings and this and that and to know her future and to see if, anything special is going to happen for her. Let me tell you, everybody that is in this world, something special is going to happen for them. But reading a 20-year-old, which I do a lot of, there's just so much future in front and so little past. So anyway, I was very busy at the particular time she was asking me for a reading. And she got busy too, and she started making ridiculous money. Now I know usually when this happens with the young ladies in the adult entertainment industry, they start to think, just, what, this is fantastic. Like, look at this money I'm making. And sure enough, she started just after she finished college in the spring. I don't know when exactly. I think it's at the end of April or the beginning of May or something. They finished college, and she started dancing. And by Halloween, she had enough money to put a down payment on a house. And I kept in contact with her, but I wasn't able to give her a reading at that time. And near Christmas, near her birthday on the same year, she goes, no, man, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go to a bigger city and make bigger money, which it makes a lot of sense. She goes, but I'm going to come back for that reading because I've been waiting for a long time. And now the wealth that I have right now, I can travel very easily to get to you. And I said, okay, when you come back, we can do a reading. So time passed. Last year, I think it was just before Halloween, about a week or two before Halloween, she came back. And she wanted a reading really bad. She still had the same house in the city where I'm from and she's from. She rented it out. Actually, she made a few apartments out of it and even made better money on that. Her wealth was not lacking. She had lots of money, but she was distraught. And so I went to her place and started doing the reading. She didn't want to come to my place, which would have been better for me because a person born on New Year's Eve is very hard for me to read. Anybody born on a special day is hard for me to read. The energy I have to use is a lot more than it is on another individual. So I started the reading, and then I saw. So think about this. I haven't seen this young lady in about 11, 12 years approximately. And I saw it. I says, wow, what is this? So I saw she had a nice love affair. She got married, and she had a kid with this gentleman. And then it all went bad. And I was like looking at this, and I'm like, what? And I said, what is this? I didn't quite get it. I saw that she was self-harming. Now, self-harming can be a lot of things. So I saw the heartbreak, and I saw the leaving. There was also someone passed away in that time too. That hurt her as well. I think it was a mother or father or a grandmother or grandfather. I can't remember exactly. But they passed away on her, and it meant a lot to her. And I said, this self-hurting, I don't understand. Well, I was doing the reading. She goes, you know what, you nailed everything. She started crying about the part when I told her about the heartbreak and everything, and that it's not there no more. And I checked her hand really thoroughly, and it looked like she had a baby girl, but it's not there. And I said, oh no, I hope that's not the loss. So I kept on with the reading and everything, and I says, this self-harm is really getting me. Like, I don't know what it is. So as I had her hand in my hand and doing the palm reading, I pulled up her sleeve, and I saw the cuts on her arm. And I says, oh, that's it. And I asked her, so when did you start doing this? She goes, at first, it was just a thought. Then I figured, you know what, I'm going to plan this. So she got the proper items in order to not cause herself extremely lots of pain and suffering during this process, which is very difficult because you're going to have to get disinfectants, this and that. It's a plan. You're making a plan out to hurt yourself. And she did so. And then I said, listen, you know what? Okay, I can see you lost the relationship. I can see that there was difficult situations happening. And then she proceeded to tell me. She goes, this is how it started. First, I lost my grandfather. Then I lost the relationship towards this person. We were together 5 years, I think she said. 5, maybe 7, 5 or 7 years. And they had the baby, and 2 years after their relationship, they got married before the child was born, thinking that was the proper thing to do. She stayed in the industry because she's accustomed to a good life. He got a part-time job, and then it became full-time when she was pregnant. And then his wages started going up slowly. But she went back to work almost a year after she had the child. So you got to understand that maybe she was off work for 2 years at the most, and she was working 3 years, and that's how she met the gentleman. He was a customer. But he wasn't very wealthy. He went in only when he got his paychecks. And he lost his job when he started dating her, and then got a part-time job. Then they got married, had the kid, and then he got a full-time job again. So now he's got a full-time job, climbing up the ladder, making more money. She's working in the industry, making tons of money. They can afford another house. They can afford a babysitter. They can afford they got it going on wealth-wise. But he wants more than this. He wants her just for him, which love and all that, it makes sense. Change happens. But she can't leave the industry due to the wealth and the life she's accustomed to. So the understanding is, listen, you met me like this. Like, now you're going to leave me because I'm still doing the same thing when you met me? Isn't this why you fell in love with me? This is the young lady telling him that. And he's like, yes, this is how it happened, but now things change. We have a child, and I got a good job now. I'm making more money. And she goes, you're not making enough money to handle both me and my child and yourself and all the things I'm accustomed to in life. And so that's where the argument kept going on. And kept going on. And she thought that he would never leave. But he filed for divorce papers. And he filed for a divorce and everything. And he's taking the child. Now, in a lot of instances, the father can take the child if he has a stable job and a good situation happening in his own life with support system. His mother, his father. She also had a mother and father too, but they weren't getting along after the grandfather died. And it does happen that they give custody to the male because of her, let's call it adult entertainment industry dancing, all right? And so she lost custody of the child. And this is where she comes to me. And she says it's been about 6 months. And she's been planning and she's been doing this self-harm. Now, the reason for doing this one on Easter, sorry, I said Valentine's, that was a mistake. On Easter is because when I saw this and I saw the self-harm and the planning and everything, that's intent. That's scary. Now, I am not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I don't have a PhD, but I know what she's doing is wrong. And so I said to her, listen, if you want me to continue with this reading and stuff like this and help you, then you need to communicate with me every day for at least a month, and then see me at least once a week for at least a month, and we'll talk. And this you cannot do no more. You cannot cut yourself, please. and I will continue. And then, after we're done, you got to promise me a 3-day stay, which is a 72-hour hold in a psychiatric ward where you can talk to professionals and find out where your headspace is at. And in this time, your wounds will heal. And they will look at that you have not hurt yourself in a certain amount of time. And it'll just be a 72-hour stay. And that's why doing this for Easter with Jesus Christ dying on the cross and being resurrected in 72 hours, 3 days. Mind you, that's kind of the only thing I have in common with Easter, other than the pain and suffering and loss, and she's doing it all for love. And she promised me all this, and it worked. She stopped hurting herself in a month, so we were in the beginning of last year, a week before Halloween. So at the end of November, she went in for her 72-hour stay. So we're talking probably she stayed until the 3rd or 4th of December. And so she didn't contact me at that time. And then my sister passed away on December 7th. And then I was distraught, and I was in grief, and I was hurting. So I wasn't communicating with any calls that were coming in or anybody who needed me at that particular time. So I don't know if she contacted me at that time. But about a month ago, she did contact me. And she said sorry for my loss and, the grieving and everything that I was going through. And I said, well, how's it going with you? And she goes, well, believe it or not, I met someone else. He's a great guy. He's rich, like totally rich. I don't have to work in the industry no more. And I get custody of my daughter 2 days a week. And she goes, the courts were not going to allow me the custody unless I did not do the business I was in, dancing. And the person I'm with has enough wealth that is just ridiculous. Like, I never have to work. I have all of the lifestyle that I've ever wanted. And we talked for 10, 15 minutes on the phone. And I said, that's great. So the self-harm stopped. She got resurrected, if you ask me, into a different relationship where she gets a couple days with her daughter, which she said was good. She goes, I lost 2 years of my life with her. She's with her dad. I can give them money in order to help them with their lives because his job is okay, but it's not as much wealth as I'm getting. And I can give him money as well because the guy I'm with, this is the girl telling me, can help with all these things, and he's not against it. And she loves him, and I think it's a good story. That's why I use this story. Birdy signing out. Bye.